What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video we're finally looking at Destroyer in PvP. Do we really need to say more? I think not. Typically we would save the best for last, but not this time. If you didn't know yet, it's pretty important to find out that Gambit is a monster. He wasn't bad before, but if you have his Pilfered E-ISO and his high card A-ISO, well, you're about to see what happens. Now the focus of this video is Destroyer, and don't worry, Gambit's going to get his own. But the basic theme for this one is going to be Flanked, and more specifically using Flanked with Destroyer. That debuff will help him get his Destructive Essence sooner, and also once you have 3 stacks, using Frenzy is going to be a lot funner, because for all of his single target attacks, he'll also do a follow-up on a flanked target. Because of that, and Old Lace joining in, him and Chase Stein actually make quite a good team as well. But that team up's going to be in next week's All Hail the Kings Chase Stein edition, so you won't be seeing that just yet. However, I think Gambit more than makes up for it. You see, his Ace of Spades consumes 1 kinetic charge to grant an extra turn. So when you build up kinetic charges, I happen to have 4 right now, then you can use this ability until you run out. But then his new A-ISO that you can find in Season 2, Chapter 1, Mission 6. It causes Ace of Spades to become stealthy and apply Flanked. This can be absolutely brutal, as you're about to witness. What you end up having is a stealthy attack that applies Flanked, Pain, which increases damage by 8% and stacks up to 3 times. Plus it causes Expose, so defense reduced by 25%. Then try to follow me with this one. When you use the bow Roulette, which because of Flanked is going to hit twice, coupled with the Pilfered E-ISO, that one says Gambit may now gain 8 stacks of kinetic charge. Well, let's just say it's going to equal a lot of fun. In this case, we've also given him an extra turn with the Shepherd's Staff. Falcon, Angel, and so on could achieve the same results. Either way, what you end up with is the same. A team obliterating Gambit. In fact, just because I still want to use the Destroyer, I'm just going to go ahead and finish Invisible Woman with Ragin Cajun. That at least leaves Null with his flank to Destroyer. I mean, we couldn't let Gambit have all the fun. So after Ragnarok'em Sock'em, we have 1 Destructive Essence. That will all change because we'll use our level 1, Destroyer follows that up with a Crush, and now we have 3. Then you can use Frenzy, which is typically what you want to do, but it won't help us out here. That was a miscalculation. Luckily that won't matter because this one attack is going to end it. The next time we use the Shepherd's Staff, I end up going with his protection effect instead. But for our second team, we're using the Blaster Safeguard suit plus Union Jack. This time we have the Chitter-Chatter Box equipped, and that's also going to add Flanked. First things first, we see a Rescue and Molly Haze, so we're going to exhaust the enemies. And then after that, we'll use the Chitter-Chatter Box on the annoying Rescue. She's up next and most likely is going to use a Protect, so let's go ahead and load her up on damage. Then we're going to be as brutal as we can on her. We're going to go ahead and use the Mystic, placing Obsolete Tech, and getting a follow-up Brawl. Basically, we dropped her to 50% in 1 turn. Then she's going to use a flyby attack, and that's pretty worthless. So good job AI. Making full use of our flank, Destroyer is going to get 2 Destructive Essence, and even causes Union Jack to join in. Then after Molly Haze uses her Protect effect, with Union Jack will use his V for Victory to place Flanked on her, and because of his A-ISO, this is also a quick action. Placing this debuff on Molly is a pretty big deal because we do want to finish her off as quickly as possible. After this, I'm going to use Over the Top, and that way Union Jack will preemptively counter defensive actions. Then when you add in our flanked follow-up, our Service Revolver will also make us preemptively counter ranged attacks. And speaking of preemptive counters, that amplified rifle is going off every single time. I wish that mine did that. If it did, my Union Jack and Rocket Raccoon team would be much better. But that's a subject for another video. Union Jack does preemptively hit before the enemy agent uses Digital Decoy. And I don't like that buff at all, so I'm going to remove it right after I use a Fire Tornado. We gotta exhaust. And of course, we also have to get hit with the amplified rifle. Honestly, this is starting to impress me, I have to say. But anyways, after that, we're going to use the Blackest Void, and we'll take away that mirror image. Then Rescue's going to die to dots. And with the Destroyer, we're actually going to use an early Frenzy. Oh, and one thing I do want to say about Destroyer is in the next video, we'll have him at level 14. And with that, we can make sure that he has Shield Breaker on at least one of his moves. Most likely his level 9, and we'll leave that Ionizing AISO on his level 1. But by using Frenzy early, we can take down Molly Hayes with Destroyer, and then we'll leave the enemy agent the Union Jack. One more attack ought to do it, and then this one's going to be another fairly easy win. Union Jack should easily take down the agent. In fact, we'll use a Trench Warfare, and now we can preemptively counter melee attacks as well. Basically, no matter what he does, he's going to get hit before he does it. So with our second match in the win column, we're now going on to face Kurth and Null. This time we're using Hybrid, and with him we're using the Shifting AISO, which gives his Lasher flanked. What this means is his level 9, an AoE attack mind you, is going to apply flank to the entire enemy team. It doesn't get much better than that. Certainly not for our purposes. So here goes our Lasher, and I believe we did place flanked on the entire enemy team. I noticed a few dodges, but I think we landed at least a hit on all of them. We will have to check though. As for my agent, we're going to begin with a Fire Tornado. Then after we've exhausted the enemy team, I'm going to use the Blackest Void to shut down Null's preemptive counter. Otherwise, Fatal Fist gets really tiresome. By now, I'm sure most of you know this shuts down Null's preemptive counter for the rest of the match. It sucks for them, but it's good for us. After that, it appears the enemy has the Borrow Guard, and because of Disorient, they're going to hit their own Kurth. So that was pretty fortunate, I have to say. However, we only have one Destructive Essence, and Null does not have flanked. So because of that, we'll hit someone who does, even though she's going to counter us. Here comes a Disintegration Beam, followed by Crush on the Breaker of Stone. The great thing about this is she's going to take a ton of bleeding damage. In fact, she ends up bleeding out. So there you go with one weakness that she does have. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and try to attack Null with Hybrid. Unfortunately, we get affected by Cower. Fortunately, an exhausted Null is a pretty useless Null, 90% of the time. So we'll use Fire Tornado once again, then the Shepherd Staff. After this, we're going to use the Light Fantastic as a quick action. And yeah, I know changes are coming, so I guess use it while it lasts. By the way, let me know what you think about the changes coming to PvP and quick actions in the comment section below. I would really like to know what you all think. Oh, and I guess I wanted to take it easy on them and I didn't use Momentary Advantage. Otherwise, I could have attacked twice with the Mystic. But no, I guess it just slipped my mind. Somehow. Then after the evil enemy agent's turn, he does take bleed damage, but also gains back HP because of his weapon. On Destroyer's first turn, this time around we're going to use Enchanted Armor. This protect is actually quite good, because the counterattack can do a lot of damage. And of course it's great to have him as a protector because he's immune to so many different things. In fact, using him in the Boss Rush Simulation Challenge is actually fun. When you make him a protector, he's immune to all types of debuffs. And then I found him doing over 7,000 damage as a counter, just for protecting. That's hard to beat and it made leveling him much easier. But anyways, after a riot from Hybrid, the enemy Null uses You're Not Worthy and that's the end of his turn. So we'll go ahead and hit him with the Disintegration Beam, and then Hybrid's going to use his level 9. He's still affected with Cower, which is crazy. So Null's going to get another turn. However, Destroyer's going to protect, and there's that destruction counter. That's how this video is going to end, so I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care.